Tonight on To The Point, speaking out. A state senator accused of sexually harassing her former chief of staff now shares her side of the story. Plus the Trump transition, Biden and the president-elect meeting at the Oval Office as new leadership in Congress is announced.
We are excited to reclaim the majority.
What to expect now with Republicans controlling the Senate and House. And community concerns growing tonight over a sexually violent predator. Tonight, hear from the man schools and law enforcement are warning about.
First, we start tonight with breaking news in Antelope. The Sacramento Sheriff's Office says 2 people have been shot and killed inside of a home. This is a live look at the scene off Running Bear Way. Deputies tell us it started as a welfare check around 4 this afternoon where they found a man and a woman dead. It is still unclear what led up to the shooting or if the people were related, but we do have a crew on scene. They are working to get some more information there, but you can see a line of cars. This isn't a neighborhood area. We have a reporter there. She said people are starting to come out of their homes, ask questions. Again, we want to remind everyone this is an active scene if you are in that area, but we will continue to bring updates on air and online as we follow this story. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. We start tonight with a state senator who is now answering to a lawsuit against her. It was filed back in September by her former chief of staff alleging sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment. ABC 10's Becca Habegger read through the documents and found that the reply includes an accusation of embezzlement and a warning tonight. The lawsuit mentions sexual content.
State Senator Marie Alvarado-Gil was first in the spotlight back in August 2024 for switching from the Democratic to Republican Party less than 2 years into her 4-year term.
It is time for me to give up that D and to cross over.
Citing ideological differences with the Democratic Party. The lawmaker represents State Senate District 4, which stretches from Truckee down to Inyo County and Stanislaus County to the eastern edge of the state. About 1 month after announcing she switched parties, Alvarado-Gil's former chief of staff, Chad Condit, filed a lawsuit against her and the state seeking financial compensation, alleging sexual harassment, creating a hostile work environment, discrimination, retaliation, and more. Condit says he worked on Alvarado-Gil's campaign for State Senate District 4, and after winning, she hired him as her chief of staff. They're pictured together here in this July 2023 post on the lawmaker's Facebook page. Condit's allegations include Alvarado-Gil pressuring him into performing oral sex on her on multiple occasions, and on one occasion he suffered a back injury that included 3 herniated discs and a collapsed hip. He said he made it clear the lawmaker's further advances were not welcomed and that the lawmaker tried to get him fired in retaliation. Condit says Alvarado-Gil lied to his wife, saying Condit was seeing someone else. Condit was fired in December of 2023. His lawsuit says Alvarado-Gil engaged in erratic, controlling, sexually dominating abuse of authority and power, and that Condit's personal and professional relationships were forever altered, and his employment record and opportunities in public employment are irreparably damaged. On Tuesday this week, Alvarado-Gil's attorneys filed a response to Condit's lawsuit, outright denying Condit's sexual allegations, including harassment, or trying to fire him in any kind of retaliation. She also denies saying anything about an affair to Condit's wife. In a statement to ABC 10, Alvarado-Gil's attorney said the lawmaker is denying the baseless and salacious allegations filed by the plaintiff in his complaint. We are certain that as we proceed, the truth will prevail on behalf of the senator. Her response mentions Condit's serious back injury, but does not mention how that injury happened other than to say she was not the cause. Further, the response alleges Alvarado-Gil was at one point concerned that Condit appeared to be under the influence of alcohol and drugs to mask the pain of his injury without a doctor's direction. She says Condit became belligerently drunk at a holiday party last December and ended up in the bathroom with his pants down, yelling loudly. Alvarado-Gil then told him she no longer wanted him to be her chief of staff. Upon hearing that news, Condit loudly yelled at and threatened the life of Alvarado-Gil, who believed her safety to be at risk. Later, the document says Alvarado-Gil learned Condit had embezzled approximately $50,000 from her campaign.
All right, Becca joining us now for this story. We do want to mention that you did reach out to Condit's attorney for a response to this, right?
Yes, they did not reply and they did not respond to our request for an interview or a statement, though they did tell us back in September the lawmaker's, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior toward Condit is conduct no employer should engage in and, quote, unbecoming of a state senator. Now, Alvarado-Gil again denies the sexual behavior and says the state of California, not she herself, was Condit's employer. The Secretary of the Senate tells ABC 10 they have no further comment beyond what they told us back in September, which is, quote, the Senate takes all complaints incredibly seriously, but is unable to comment on matters involving pending litigation.
All right, Becca, thank you for the update. We appreciate it. Turning now to the Trump transition. As major changes happen in Washington, D.C., locally people protested at the state capitol demanding Governor Gavin Newsom grant more clemency. With President-elect Trump promising mass deportations, advocates are urging action. During the last Trump administration, Governor Newsom and Governor Brown used their pardon power to ensure that immigrant and refugee community members who had served their time did not face the double punishment of detention and deportation. In Washington, the U.S. Senate elected South Dakota Senator John Thune as their next Senate Majority Leader. It will be the first time Republicans have control of the House since 2017. Thune spoke briefly today about what he and other senators hope to accomplish.
We will make sure that the President and his team have the tools and the support that they need to enforce border security laws and to remove the violent criminals who are wreaking havoc in every one of our states. We will work to make America prosperous again by streamlining the bureaucratic machine and overturning costly Biden-Harris regulations. And we will work to restore American energy dominance.
And in the House, Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson has unanimously won the Republican nomination to be Speaker once again. Johnson was elected as interim Speaker in 2023 after Kevin McCarthy was ousted. And tonight, ABC News is projecting that Republicans have taken control of the House with 218 seats. Democrats have 208 seats. There are still House races that have not been called yet. This is the first time a single political party has gained full control over Congress and the White House since President-elect Trump's first term began in 2017. And a historic moment at the White House today. President Biden and President-elect Trump meeting in the Oval Office today, starting the transfer of power. Trump also announced more cabinet appointments. ABC's Perry Russum has more from the White House.
President Biden and President-elect Trump sitting side by side in the Oval Office, shaking hands. Biden promising a smooth transition of power.
Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need.
Trump thanking Biden.
Politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much.
The two meeting behind closed doors for nearly 2 hours.
They had an in-depth conversation on an array of issues.
Today, Trump with new nominations. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence, and Senator Marco Rubio officially nominated for Secretary of State. Earlier today, Trump getting a standing ovation from a room full of House Republicans who are now projected to retain control of the House.
Thank you very much. This is a very nice gathering. Isn't it nice to win? It's nice to win.
Trump apparently joking with lawmakers, saying, "I suspect I won't be running again unless you say he's so good we've got to figure something else out." There was laughter in the room.
And we do want to mention tonight that Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress following Trump's announcement that he has plans to nominate Gaetz as Attorney General. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom continued his campaign today to prepare the incoming presidency of Donald Trump. Newsom spent the past 3 days in Washington, D.C., meeting with the Biden-Harris administration. He also had a closed-door meeting with the California House delegation on the Hill this afternoon, and the visit comes after he called a special session last week to, quote, Trump-proof California. Newsom spoke to reporters today.
We talked about the 122 lawsuits we were involved in the Trump administration. We talked about the special session and how we're going to move aggressively to be proactive and not reactive to the incoming Trump administration. We talked about the playbook that's very familiar, that goes back even before Donald Trump to the George W. Bush administration as it relates to particularly issues related to the environment, clean air.
Newsom says they also talked about issues around immigration and deportation. He would not give any specifics into what was discussed. Still head on to the point, a sexually violent predator in Sacramento County. Tonight, the concerns from neighbors and what the man in question is saying.
We saw our first wave of midweek wet weather move through, tracking more and the cold air ahead, patchy frost and fog in the forecast.
Plus, verifying how Trump's campaign could affect global politics. Tonight, our Verify team looks into the claim about the war in Gaza. All right, let's bring in our chief, Monica Woods, to take a look at our forecast. Some scattered showers moving through the area, right?
Yeah, and that's the best way to put it. Honestly, it's going to be hit and miss throughout the course of tonight, tomorrow, and even into Friday. Right now, we're seeing most of the widespread activity wind down for the valley. A couple of showers rolling on through for tonight. As far as the Sierra, still looking at some impacts there, and that will continue through our Friday forecast. We still have the low getting ready to move through the Pacific Northwest, and behind it, we've got a lot of cold air. That snow line comes down to 4,500 feet by Friday. Winter weather advisory in place through Friday at 10 p.m. And that's where we'll be tracking our weather impact alert. Now, we'll still see those on and off valley showers. Sierra impact alert will continue, plus the potential for valley fog and frost. Tonight into early tomorrow morning, we're going to see some patchy fog forming, and that's how we'll start off the morning commute. It really doesn't stick around too long as we prepare for more wet weather coming our way into our Thursday. Not a ton of accumulation. Most of that will happen overnight Thursday through early Friday with about 1/10 of an inch or so through the valley, closer to about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of rain through the foothills. And for Sierra snow, again, overnight Thursday through Friday, we'll pick up an additional 1 to 8 inches of snow. One line coming through tomorrow afternoon, slight chance of a thunderstorm tomorrow, and then we get better snow falling into the Sierra Friday most of the day, and that could really impact travel, especially because the volume of traffic just tends to go up by the time we get into our Friday. As for Sunday, a slight chance of a wraparound shower coming through as another weather system moves our way. Our 5-day regional forecast, it's on and off snow showers for the Sierra. Highs only in the 30s Friday and Saturday, a little warmer by Sunday into Monday. Highs will drop to the 40s for the foothills with a chance of rain coming in to wrap us up for the work week. And for the coast, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds and highs staying right about 60. Slight chance of a thunderstorm for tomorrow in the valley. Otherwise, it's going to be a chance of rain overnight Thursday through early Friday. Should be okay in the valley Friday afternoon, but the Sierra is going to be very active. Dry for Saturday. Patchy frost, 30s for morning lows both Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, that slight chance for showers. And then we're back to some dry weather as we edge closer to Thanksgiving week.
Next, on To the Point, community concerns growing over a sexually violent predator. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office was out in full force in Antelope today after reports that a sexually violent predator who just moved into that area was acting suspicious. ABC 10's Devin Truby was out with the team today and shares community concerns.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says the overall message here is an informed community is a safer community. But what they're concerned about is the school playground right here that's less than half a block from the registered offender. And everyone we spoke to today said they had no idea he had moved into their community.
Let's break up into teams of 2 people, go out and start knocking on those doors.
Sacramento Sheriff Sergeant Jeff Finch and his sexual assault felony enforcement or SAFE team are out in force in Antelope. They're going door to door on Big Cloud Way, making sure neighbors know about this man, Robert Singleton.
He's not on probation or parole. However, in '94, he was convicted of numerous sex crimes against children.
The sheriff's office says he was released from prison by the Department of State Hospitals with the condition that he has to let the sheriff's office know where he's living every 90 days. Singleton tells ABC 10 he moved to this home on Big Cloud Way 3 months ago to be with his family.
I already did my time. Why should it be fair? I've served my time. I'm not messing with nobody.
But the SAFE team says they witnessed behavior by Singleton that raised their level of concern.
Came outside right before school got dismissed, watched kids walk by after school dismissal, and then went right back inside.
Where Singleton lives is less than half a block from North Creek Elementary. You can see the playground if you stand in the middle of the street. Singleton says deputies knocked on his door but didn't show him the flyer or tell him they were speaking to neighbors.
Society downgrades us and all that. You know, a person's service time, it should be over. I'm not doing harm. Serious, period.
For neighbor and mom Erica Smith, she had no idea she was living across the street from a registered sex offender and will stay vigilant moving forward.
We're definitely going to make our daughter aware. Obviously, we're going to have to let any parents of those friends know that there is someone across the street that, we have to keep an eye on.
You might be asking why he's allowed to live so close to a school. Well, the California Supreme Court overturned residency restrictions for registered offenders. It was a part of Erica's law back in 2015. For those just now coming home and seeing those flyers from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, they say if you have any questions, feel free to call the number on the flyer. But anyone using that information to harass or intimidate Singleton can face penalties. Reporting in Antelope, Devin Truby, ABC 10.
And we do want to mention that the Center Joint Unified School District sent a letter to families about Singleton's release to the Antelope area. It said in part, quote, "We remain diligent about our students' safety and ask that all families keep their eyes open and report any suspicious behavior to the sheriff's office." A California man pled guilty for making hundreds of swatting calls over a 2-year period. The Department of Justice says Alan Fillion made more than 375 calls between August of 2022 to January of this year. They say the calls to institutions, schools, and several government officials' homes. Fillion would claim to have planted bombs or threatened to carry out mass shootings. He faces 4 charges, each with a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison on each count. Getting into your price points now tonight, a key inflation report out today from the Labor Department shows inflation is up. But despite this, the Fed is expected to stay on course with another interest rate cut next month. The consumer price index showing inflation ticked up 0.2% from last month and up 2.6% since last October, in line with economists' expectations. While overall inflation has come down from a peak of 9% in 2022, some price increases are still outpacing inflation. The Fed wants to see if inflation around 2%, and we are close to that target. Boeing has announced that it will lay off at least 10% of its workforce. The job cuts will include executives, managers, and employees. The move is part of the new CEO's bid to restore the company to profitability. And the company says they are providing impacted employees with career transition services and severance pay. Popular budget airline Spirit appears to be heading towards bankruptcy. The Wall Street Journal reports the concern comes after merger talks with Frontier Airlines fell through, and Spirit was set to be acquired by JetBlue 2 years ago, but that was stopped by a federal judge. The company is now reportedly working on restructuring its debt and could file for Chapter 11 within weeks. Turning now to your Verify. While Donald Trump won't be sworn in for president for another 2 months, some are saying his election is already affecting global politics. Casey Decker with our National Verify team looked into the one claim about the war in Gaza.
The war between Israel and Hamas has continued for over a year now. But some people are claiming the election of Donald Trump is already helping to end it. Several posts show headlines saying Hamas calls for end to war shortly after the race was called for Trump. Verify viewers messaged us asking if these posts are truthful. So let's verify. Did Hamas call for an end to the war because of Trump's election? Our sources, the full statement by Hamas, and several news reports since the war began. These posts are misleading. Here's why. It's true that after Trump got elected, Hamas called for an end to the war. But that's nothing new. Hamas has been calling for an end to the war since shortly after it started. We found reports of similar statements from Hamas last November and December, in addition to this January, May, and June. But when Hamas says they want the war to end, they aren't saying they want to surrender. They're either demanding Israel stop its warfare entirely or calling for a negotiated peace. That hasn't changed in the recent statement. The actual text of the statement referenced in these headlines reads in part, quote, "The election of Trump as the 47th president of the USA is a private matter for the Americans, but Palestinians look forward to an immediate cessation of the aggression against our people." Israel has given no indication it intends to cease fighting in Gaza, and in recent days, some key Israeli leaders have even called for Israel to push its activities into the West Bank. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also celebrated Trump's win, calling it a powerful recommitment to the great alliance between Israel and America. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Next one to the point, another step forward when Sacramento could see a new stadium and entertainment district in Sacramento's rail yards. Before we go, an update to a story that we told you about last night. Plans for a new soccer stadium and entertainment district at the Sacramento rail yards are moving forward. Sacramento City Council unanimously approved the preliminary term sheet for the project just yesterday. It included the financial and infrastructure framework for the proposed soccer venue, and the stadium is scheduled to be completed in 2026, late 2026, the entertainment venue in 2027. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. If you have something that we should be looking into, you already know what to do. Reach out to me and the team. And remember, strangers are just people we haven't gotten the chance to meet yet. So take the time to get to know someone. And To the Point does not end here. To watch stories featured on our show, download our free ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To The Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To The Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To The Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.